Hey, it's Dan Zimmerman. Welcome to Illustrate to Educate. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support more simple and objective videos on topics that matter. Also, you can now support the channel directly with the new Super Thanks feature. Have you ever wondered where the two major political parties in the United States got their start? In this video, we'll do a simple run-through starting from the beginning to the present day. The Democratic Party is the older of the two parties and is actually the oldest active political party in the world. It was founded officially in 1828. However, both parties can trace their backgrounds to the birth of the country and the Founding Fathers. The Founding Fathers had differing political views that sparked the forming of two factions. George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, and John Adams formed what was called the Federalists. Their primary objective was to ensure a strong government and central banking system with a national bank. On the other side, Thomas Jefferson and James Madison pushed for a smaller and more decentralized government. They formed what was known as the Democratic Republicans. Both the Democratic and Republican parties as we know them today are rooted in this early faction. At the beginning of the 19th century, the Democratic Republicans dominated the political scene, causing the Federalists to slowly dissolve away. Because the Democratic Republicans were so popular, the party had several political candidates who ran against each other in the presidential election of 1824. John Quincy Adams won the presidency in spite of Andrew Jackson winning the popular vote. This began a divide within the party, which eventually caused the party to split in two: the Democrats or Democratic Party and the Whig Party. The Democrats were led by Andrew Jackson. He was against the existence of the Bank of the United States, and he largely supported states' rights and minimal government regulation. The Whig Party stood in distinct opposition to Jackson and the Democrats, and supported the national bank. In the mid-19th century, slavery was a widely discussed political issue. The Democratic Party's internal views on this matter differed greatly. Southern Democrats wished for slavery to be expanded and reach into western parts of the country. Northern Democrats, on the other hand, argued that this issue should be settled on a local level and through popular referendum. The divide in the Democratic Party eventually led to Abraham Lincoln, who belonged to the Republican Party, winning the presidential election of 1860. This new Republican Party had recently been formed by a group of Whigs, Democrats, and other politicians who had broken free from their respective parties in order to form a party based on an anti-slavery platform. The Civil War broke out in 1861, following President Lincoln's inauguration. In the Civil War, 7 southern states formed the Confederate States of America and fought for the detachment from the United States. However, the Union won the war, and the Confederacy was formally dissolved. The issue of slavery was at the center of political disagreement during the Civil War, and this caused the Republicans to fight for the abolition of slavery and Lincoln signing the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. At this point in history, the South was predominantly Democratic and held conservative, agrarian-oriented, anti-big business values, which were characteristic of the Democratic Party at the time. The majority of the North, on the other hand, were Republicans who fought for the civil and voting rights for African American people. After the war, the Republican Party became more and more oriented toward economic growth, industry, and big business in northern states, and in the beginning of the 20th century, it had reached a general status as a party for the more wealthy classes in society. Many Republicans therefore gained financial success in the prosperous 1920s until the stock market crashed in 1929, initiating the era of the Great Depression. Many blamed Republican President Herbert Hoover for the financial damages brought by the crisis. In 1932, the country therefore elected Democrat Franklin D. Roosevelt to be president. To get the country back on track, Roosevelt introduced his New Deal. The New Deal launched a number of progressive government-funded social programs, ensuring Social Security, improved infrastructure, and minimum wage. This meant that a large number of Southern Democrats, whose political views were more traditional and conservative, didn't support Roosevelt's liberal initiatives and joined the Republican Party instead. Roosevelt's progressive liberal policies play an important role in shifting the party's political agenda to look like the modern Democratic Party as we know it today. After Roosevelt died in 1945, the Democrats stayed in power with Harry S. Truman in the White House. He continued to take the Democratic Party in a progressive direction with a pro-civil rights platform and desegregation of military forces, thereby gaining support from a large number of African American voters who had previously supported the Republican Party because of its anti-slavery platform. The Democratic Party largely stayed in power until 1980, when Republican Ronald Reagan was elected as president. Reagan's social conservative politics and emphasis on cutting taxes, preserving family values, and increasing military funding were important steps in defining the modern Republican platform. Following Reagan's 2 terms in office, his Vice President George H.W. Bush was elected as his successor in the White House. Since then, Republicans and Democrats have taken turns in the White House and controlling majorities in both the House of Representatives and the Senate. Did you find this video about the history of the Democratic and Republican Party to be useful? If so, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Illustrate to Educate. If you like this video, please check out more simple and objective videos to the right.